And welcome to another episode of Cross the Line, a tennis podcast by WFUV Sports. I'm Gabby Price, joined today by Grace McCarron. Grace, it's Friday afternoon. There's been a lot of Cincinnati tennis on. I'm sure it's been a busy week for you, like it has been for me. We'll kind of get into some of the biggest headlines from this tournament. But first, like, how are you? How's your week been? It's been a minute since we've done Cross the Line.
It has been a minute. Like it feels like Wimbledon feels like forever now, or forever ago now. And we're about like 10 days away from the US Open starting, which is crazy.
Crazy.
I'm excited. I think it's like the most fun of the slams. First, I mean, I'm a little bit biased because it's New York, but definitely my favorite. And I'm excited to talk a little Cincy too. It's always a good little lead up to get us all back into the tennis mood after a good month-long break, I feel like.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like thinking about Wimbledon feels so long ago that finally now it's like US overtime and it's one of my favorites too. But also that's just because we've like both of us also being tri-state area, like it's so
Yeah.
easy to go. So a little spoiled that way, but nonetheless very exciting. But yeah, the Cincinnati is always really fun. Because the ATP and WTA they play at the same place. They're both playing in Cincy right now. It's a 1,000 event for both of these both the men and women. So kind of fun to have right going into the US Open too. A lot of times I feel like some of the tournaments are not played in the same spot, the men's and women. So kind of cool that you see all these players in the same location before they come over to New York. But I want to start on the men's side, I think. Defending champ Yannick Sinner is once again trying to defend his title and is doing it pretty successfully so far. His first round match was only 59 minutes, and then his he kept going, and he has now won 25 straight matches on hard court. So something that you like to see for him, kind of going into this final slam of the year, but you know, do you think he keeps his dominance? Do you think he takes Cincy and then he keeps his dominance throughout US Open?
Ooh, well, he hasn't dropped a set in Cincy yet, so I would be shocked if he lost the tournament entirely. That's pretty hard to go from
Yeah.
not losing a set to losing in the final. You never know what could happen, but I would say, yeah, if he wins Cincy, there's a lot of momentum there going into the US Open, and then like he won the US Open last year. He's coming off the win at Wimbledon, um, for the last slam. Like I would
Hmm.
say he's probably my favorite to win the US Open, just because of the momentum shift that he's had. Like he kind of started off the year, like he had the doping scandal. He lost a really crushing French Open final, and then he's kind of turned it around recently. So I would say he's definitely my pick.
Yeah, he's kind of in his prime right now. And like clearly he just when he's on the court, he's just trying to get it done. Like he's
Yeah.
not really there to play like entertaining tennis. He just wants to win. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I feel like some player like that's where I don't know, he's someone more like Djokovic where it's just like let's get this done. I'm not wasting
Yeah.
energy that I don't have to. But that being said, he's playing tomorrow in the semis against Terrence Atman, who speaking of something you don't expect, he's something that this tournament certainly did not expect. He was a qualifier in the tournament, world number 136, I believe, which is crazy then that in the semifinals of this tournament, he's playing Yannick Sinner. Definitely a tall task, but he did beat Taylor Fritz and Holger Rune.
hmm
So there's some momentum there.
Yeah,
Definitely big wins for him.
I mean, these are like some of the biggest wins of his career. Now I believe he's number 69 in the world, so he's cracked the top 100, which is pretty big for someone who wasn't in the top 100 before, but he also beat Francisco Cavalli. or Flavio Cavalli, who's the 15 seed, and then Fonseca as well. And then he beat Fritz and Holger Rune, and now he's facing Jannik Sinner. Like this is kind of an outrageous run he's had in a 1000 tournament. Like this is not, some little tournament. This is the next step is the slam. So
Yeah.
I mean, this is a great run. Unfortunately for him, I don't see him beating Sinner. That's kind of a tall order. But if he does beat Sinner, I mean, now US Open, I'm like, wait, I'm like if he gets into the US Open, which I have to assume he will be in qualifying, and then we'll see
Yeah.
if he makes it into the main draw after qualifying. But I kind of have to assume that he might make some noise.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like it can go either way. That I feel like a lot of these players, they either like get these big wins and then they can come back into the US Open or whatever the next slam and kind of go on this crazy Cinderella run again.
Mhm.
Or, he has these top upsets and we never hear him again.
Yeah, it could
So
go either way.
it's like a blessing and a curse, I think, for a player's career. But I don't think anyone is if he beats Sinner, it's probably because something is wrong with Sinner. I'll leave it
Yeah,
like that, maybe.
yeah,
No, poor Tara Satman, but that's kind of the reality of that situation. Um, but that match is tomorrow. That'll be the semis, and the other. So actually, right now, Carlos Alcaraz, of course, our beloved Alcaraz, and Rublev are playing right now. Carlos won the first set. I would expect Carlos is going to take that match.
Mhm.
Already up a set, but so that will be the other match, and then Shelton and Zverev play later tonight. That one I see going a little bit more both ways. I don't know if you have any strong feelings. I think I want Shelton though. And especially going into the US Open, I think this is a time where he kind of really needs to
Yeah.
clutch up to an extent, kind of get these wins under his belt, get some confidence, and then have a really good, US American. This is kind of an environment where he thrives.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. I will say Shelton is coming off the win in Montreal, which I believe is his first that 1000 level tour title. So that's a good little bit of momentum to have. Hopefully I think he can beat Zverev. Zverev's been like, we have our feelings about Zverev, but he lost to Khachanov in the semis in Montreal, and he was the one seed there. So not really. And Kazanov was the 11th seed, so that was an upset. I don't, I kind of feel like Zverev has fallen off a little bit in the past couple of years, and Shelton I think is kind of going the other direction, even though
Mhm.
he hasn't won his first slam yet. But we talk about the U.S. Open and how he thrives in that sort of environment, and he's definitely making progress in his game. So I'd say he's my pick, but I do think this could be a three-setter easily.
Yeah, yeah. So that match is later tonight. Something to keep an eye out, and then those finals I think are Monday, I
Hmm.
think, which is kind of weird, but yeah, something to look forward to. But switching to the women's side, we talked about how Sinner is coming back, trying to defend his title. Defending women's champion from last year, Sabalenka, already gone. She was defeated by Elena Rybakina, which is kind of random. Rybakina has been competitive the past, I would say, couple of years, but I don't know if she's had a win of this size in a little bit. Um, so I mean, we see Sabalenka kind of come down in these 1000 tournaments, but then turn it around and just obviously win. I think that happened. Maybe that happened during Rome,
Hmm.
before the French, and turn around completely then in the majors and win it or at least make it to the finals. So I don't think it's super alarming on her end, but definitely interesting to see. Elena Rybakina um, kind of take this win dominantly, 6-1, 6-4, I believe it was. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, kind of interesting.
That was kind of interesting. Yeah, you said it, pretty convincing win by Rybakina there. But Rybakina is like she's been around a little bit. Like I feel like we forget that she won Wimbledon in 2022. Like
Yeah.
it's 3 years ago now, but like in the big picture, it's not that long ago, but she did struggle at Wimbledon this year. She lost in the third round. That was a bit of an upset. And then in Montreal, she lost to the eventual champion Mboko, who's a whole other story. She's not playing Cincinnati, I believe, because that tournament just ended last week.
Hmm.
But it's been a little up and down for her, but I think this is a good win. Especially Sabalenka, we know she dominates at the US Open on hard courts. These are, this is a player who's proven herself in these big spots on hard courts. So good win for Rybakina. Hopefully propels her, but also like Sabalenka, nothing to worry about. They all have their
Yeah.
games where it just doesn't happen. So,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think I completely agree with you there. And I would be a little, maybe not worried if I was Rybakina, but her next match is against Swiatek.
hmm.
And Swiatek has been a little bit on a heater recently. So I think
Yeah.
if you're Rybakina, you're kind of like, okay, I
Hmm.
got momentum. So does Iga now. This is this is Iga's um first WTA 1000 semifinal in 15 months, which is kind of a crazy stat that I saw, which
Yeah.
I don't think I realized that. I mean, I know she had that, like, we talked about it, she had that little rough patch, but I didn't realize it had been that long. Um, and so she is really not one that's going to be wanting to lose now in this semifinal. Um, so that will definitely be an interesting match, and I kind of go both ways on it because I think I would like to see Rybakina win. I think I kind of want to see her kind of get back into this top maybe five women's players, but
Mhm.
I don't know if you can stop Ego right now.
Yeah, we talked about like Iga's, I mean, like rough patch. Like it wasn't a disaster, but it was not usual Iga. And then she goes and
Yeah,
wins
yeah,
Wimbledon in the
yeah,
most convincing final match of a slam maybe I've ever seen. Um, and now she's like, I was surprised that she was the 3 seed in Cincy. Like, I feel like she should
yeah,
be the 1 seed. I mean, I don't know all the metrics that go into that. Sabalenka was the 1 seed, which also makes sense. But
yeah, yeah,
yeah, I would say Rybakina should be a little bit nervous, and also Iga's Iga won the US Open. That was also 3 years ago now. But yeah, she's proven
yeah.
herself on hard court. She's proven herself on every surface now. But
Every service,
every single one.
it's ridiculous, honestly.
Yeah.
Um, but should be a fun match. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we'll see if Rybakina can handle Swiatek's power, but I we'll see, we'll see. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But um, another match. This match is happening tonight. Paulini and Coco Gauff.
Hmm.
Gauff is another one where I think this tournament is Paulini as well, but from the perspective of an American playing in the American um major slam. I think this tournament is pretty important for Golf again to build that confidence, get some of those wins under her belt going into the US Open, which I think for Golf, this is the tournament where she has the most pressure on her, winning it super young and
Yeah.
now kind of having this perpetual expectation on her that she's going to win it again, but
Mhm.
it kind of just when will she like make this tournament hers, maybe similar to how the Williams sisters did, how Serena in particular, which is, an unfair expectation to just pass down. But you do like as Americans, you do like to see the Americans win,
Yeah.
the home surface. So yeah, I think that's why this match will be interesting for
Hmm.
Coco, especially coming up against someone like Paolini, who has been so dominant recently as well. And I think she would also this is kind of Paolini's tournament again to come out and make it pretty far. So I think this is a competitive match, but what do you think? What do you think about these players see each other now and then potentially again in a couple weeks?
Well, first of all, I love both of these players. Like, I think they're both so much fun, and they're so young. I think Paulini's like 23. I think we were talking about her recent, or no,
She's
I'm
so
sorry,
yeah.
she's 29. That's my bad.
Oh,
But Coco is 21, which is really alarming. But I love them both, and I'd be happy either way for this one. But as you were saying, I would love if Coco Gauff and on the men's side, Ben Shelton, like could make the US Open their tournament because it's been a long time since. I mean, Serena has been retired for a couple years now. Um, and then I mean, Venus is back. Venus is going to play.
Venus is back. We need to talk about that
We
as
need to
well.
talk about that. We can get into that. But Venus is back. She is like 45, so it might be tough for her to pull this
Crazy.
one out. That would be unbelievable. I would be so thrilled. But anyway, lo I love Paolini and Coco Gauff. I think they're both a lot of fun, but I would love if Coco would really like she won in 2023 when I guess she was 19, which is
Hmm.
obviously crazy, and she has so much time to still like make this tournament her own. But I do think she's
Hmm.
also another player like Ben Shelton who thrives in with the American crowds who've like grown to love her since that first appearance at Wimbledon in 2019, I think it was from her when she actually beat Venus, funnily enough. Like they've grown to love her. So that's where I'm at. However, Paolini, she's so much fun too. So I'd be fine either way, but I do think that Coco needs this momentum. I don't know. I can't decide.
Yeah, yeah, no, and I think it's easy to say I want Coco to have the momentum going into the US Open. I do think that Paolini needs it just as much as Goff. As you said, she's older, so there's a little bit more on the line for her, I think. Just
Hmm.
in terms of, the trajectory of a player's career, I think this would be a tournament that she would also really want to um lock in on, I guess. But I don't know. I think she's only okay on hard court, and Coco historically is very good on her surface. So yeah, should be interesting. And then before we kind of get into Venus, like we mentioned, I did want to say Emma Navarro lost to a qualifier. So same thing happened on the women's side, which was also a big upset. And I mean, I don't think there's a lot to talk here. I think Emma Navarro hopefully will perform better,
Hmm.
in a bigger tournament with more US support. But I did think it was interesting just because her father invested so much money into this tournament. So I think people were kind of talking about it,
Hmm.
which I don't know. It's just kind of funny. But yeah, just like again, she was an A seed, lost to a qualifier, Ella Sidel, I think is how you say her name. So
Yeah.
recent match, kind of interesting. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. And then I'm sure we'll talking about this a little bit more once we kind of do our US Open episode, but Venus Williams back on the scene,
Yeah.
45 years old, wild card invitation to play at the US Open.
Hmm.
Crazy.
Crazy. Like, dude, like I'm so happy. I don't even she could lose in the first match of the US Open and I'd still be like, oh, so proud of
Well,
her.
so she what was it? I think it was also 2023 where
Mhm.
she was first round also, and she lost in the first round. I mean, but let's see, she was like 42 then, maybe she was 41.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's so fun to see her still back and playing, which I can't even, I mean, I know she played in DC.
Yeah.
But part of me is like, part of me, I just feel bad because I feel like she had just such like a good career, and now
Hmm.
it's like I hope she wins just that she doesn't kind of go
Yeah.
out permanently on a first round loss at the US Open.
I
But
agree.
yeah, I don't know.
I will say like the fact that she beat Peyton Stearns at in DC like in the first round. I think that was such like she looked so thrilled after that I don't even know if she would like I don't even know if she would care if she lost in the first round of the US Open because it's just like she's back at the US Open, which is a really special
True,
tournament for both the Williams sisters.
true.
And she has a long, I mean, I don't even know the last time she won the US Open, but it's been a very, very, I'm checking right now. It's
Yeah,
2001. So before either of us were born, that's 24 years ago, and she's still playing in this tournament. Like I think
wow,
that to her,
that's
not to speak for,
insane.
not to speak for Venus Williams, but like the vibe I get from her is that like just to be back in Arthur Ashe, like, or actually, I don't know if she's gonna play on Ashe, but you know what I mean.
Right,
Like just to be back at the tennis center, I think it seems to be like enough for her, and it's so impressive because she's
100%.
had health issues, obvious, and she's 45, so there's all the stuff that comes with that.
Hmm.
But
She took a year off from tennis and is
yeah,
now back in this scene. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. And also, she's the oldest player in the tournament since I don't even know who this is. Renee Richards, who was 47 in 1981.
yeah, there you go. This
It's
doesn't happen. Like this,
crazy.
this never happens. Like,
No, it really never happens. And so it'll be kind of fun. It'll be like a little like throwback. And I feel like no matter who she plays, you're so right where it's just gonna be like joyful.
yeah, it's just so, and I feel like the fans are also going to be incredible. Even for, I think she has to, is she going through qualifying or in the US Open? I think, yeah.
She no,
Oh, she got the
she
wild
has a
card.
wild card. She got a
Gotcha.
wild card, yeah.
Um,
Um,
but like just that first round match, that's a must-see ticket in my opinion. And for I think for most tennis fans, that's you never like that could be her last match ever. We don't know.
yeah, seriously, seriously.
That this is the kind of thing where fans are gonna want to be there, support her. I think she's pretty beloved at the US Open, obviously like her sister.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, it'll be really cool. She did lose in the first round of Cincinnati, I
Mm,
just saw, but she came out after that match saying that she's not injured at all. So she said, quote, now I can work on power and speed instead of trying just to make sure I'm not getting like getting over an injury.
right.
Kind of love that quote, but you know what I mean.
Mhm.
So that honestly is a really interesting perspective too, that it's not like she has to be resting a whole time to get over an injury. She can kind of
Right.
work on her power and stuff going into it. And then she's also playing in the mixed doubles tournament with Riley Opelka. Another
Oh my
fun match
God.
to be looking into, which that's kind of that's a great pairing too, I think.
Yeah, I
So
love that. I love the mixed doubles tournament. Like we could get into that, but I feel like that's our US Open preview, but like that's gonna
of
be so
course.
fun.
Yeah, no, that'll be special. That'll be special. Which I was just talking about this with my parents the other day, and we'll wrap up. But it's kind of interesting that they've condensed the mixed doubles, like, or condensed it so much into that first week.
Hmm.
Which part of it kind of seems like a marketing scheme to me.
Yeah.
But it'll be really fun, and it's cool to see so many name players kind of in that tournament and playing doubles that you don't normally see doubles because I think the majority of tennis players in the United States play doubles. So you get to see your favorite players doing the thing that you do too. I don't
Yeah.
know, kind of interesting.
I like it just because it's like doubles is so cool to me because it's, you obviously you have to be very, very good at tennis by itself, and then you have to like have that coordination with another person.
Mm.
And that adds a whole other layer. And
And
I
there's
think
different
really
strategy. Yeah,
right, there's a totally different set of strategies. It's really interesting. Definitely, like I saw some people saying like, oh, this takes away from like the regular mixed doubles players who like that's their main thing, which is obviously a
yeah,
bummer. But I do see why the US Open did it because unfortunately the vast majority of the tennis community pays way more attention to singles than doubles, and I think they probably want to bring out when they say, oh, Venus Williams, who's a name obviously by herself, and then Riley Opelka is very good these days.
yeah.
That's a big deal. And then there's Alcaraz and Emma Raducanu. That gets the people talking. Obviously, we've been talking about them for like ages. So
Seriously.
that's like I see why they did it. Obviously, if it does like have a have an effect on the regular mixed doubles players, that's a bummer. But I I see the marketing strategy definitely.
And it'll work.
Yeah, it'll
It'll
work.
work
I mean, I'll be
and
watching.
it
Like,
is working.
yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. So all very exciting stuff to look forward to. We will hopefully be doing like a little bit more of a US Open episode, hopefully in person, maybe next time you hear us talk. So that would be fun, but
Mhm.
that will be all we have for everyone today. Thank you for listening. This is Cross the Line, a production of WFUV Sports.